Greetings everyone, welcome to Just Advance. This game was played in FIDE World Cup quarterfinals. With the white pieces, we have Arjun Erigaisi facing off against Wei Yi, and this is going to be an epic matchup. In the first game, Arjun actually was able to get a draw with the black pieces, and the preparation that Wei Yi did against Arjun did not pan out at all, and Arjun was able to counter that. Let's see what Arjun has with the white piece. He starts with d4, we have d5, c4, and just going for e6. This is the queen's gambit decline. We have knight to f3, knight to f6, and just going for c caps on d5. E captures is the exchange variation, knight to c3, and just going for c6. This is a Slav kind of setup, and we have this bishop to f4. Now just developing that bishop to f5, countering that, and now just going for knight to h4 in this position. Knight to h5 was played, so just well, you say you want to attack my bishop, I'll just go, I'll just return the favor. He just knight caps on f5 was played, knight caps on f4, and in this position just g3. Also preparing to fiend cat of the bishop to you so that you can castle in the position, and here just comes this knight back to e6. And this preparation was definitely very deep by Arjun, because that knight on e6 is going to be a really strong knight, but if you're able to eliminate that, maybe with the help of this bishop, if you get a powerful position, that's going to be really amazing. Because here e3 was played, now just comes this knight to d7 developing, and queen to b3, now attacking that. And Wei Yi just in this position goes for queen to b6. He asks for a trade, and definitely you don't want to trade. If you trade in this position, that's a bit too early and you will lose your advantage. So in this position, just queen to c2 was played, g6 now, and knight to h4. Arjun is just playing all the best moves in this position, and he's doing it very fast. A bishop to g7, fiend catching the bishop, preparing castles, and in this position you could choose to go for this bishop to s3, just going for the prospect of eliminating this very strong knight somewhere along the future. And if after queen to a6 now, stopping me from castling in this position, then just comes this knight to f3. I just develop, I just get my knight to decent square, and if castles in this position, rook to c1. Now after rook f to e8, you just go for this queen to e2. Now because keeping the king in the center that for that much longer time is not going to be that much good, and bishop to f1 is not something that you would want to do. So here just queen captures, knight captures, and now just going for this knight to f6, knight to c3, and after knight to d7 you just castle in this position, and the game goes on with both players having roughly equal chances. But after this bishop to g7, bishop to g2 was played, not going for bishop to h3. So that's very interesting, because in this position castles, and Wei Yi just castles, and Wei Yi allows Arjun to go for castling in this position. So he either understands the intricacies of this position and is not worried about them, or either he has not actually just calculated everything that he's supposed to do, and now Arjun does have a slight advantage that he did not have before. And now just comes this rook f to e8, knight to f3 in this position, getting the knight. You're always supposed to get the knight back in this position, and here just rook a to c8. And in this position, the best move that you're supposed to go for to not maybe allow the prospect of c5 to be that strong is the rook f to c1. You take complete control of this file, and if a5 in this position, then you go for knight to a4, attacking the queen. Queen goes back to d8, and after h4, creating some chances towards the king side, you have b5, and after knight to c3, even b4, knight to a4, and after c5 you just go for this knight captures, d captures, and after knight captures, and after a move like bishop to h3 in this position, just attacking that rook and asking that rook to move, the game goes on with both players having roughly equal chances. I'll still like white's position a lot in this position. But after rook a to c8, here rook f to e1 was played by Arjun, and I think Arjun just missed the opportunity to go for rook to c1, and now just comes this knight to f6, just getting the knight to a decent square. Rook a to c1 now, but now you have c5, and Wei Yi executes it perfectly, and here we have d captures, rook captures, and now just going for queen to e2. And in this position, this queen to e2 really threw Wei Yi off, because here he had somewhere along 53 minutes to just, once Arjun played this position. But after thinking about for so long, here he just had 17 minutes. I mean, that's absolutely crazy that he thought for roughly 30 minutes for this move. And it's not even the best move in this position. And here just knight to d2. Arjun just keeps on piling on with the best moves, and now just comes knight to d7. Knight to b3 was played, attacking that rook. But this knight to d2 was played with the idea to just go for this bishop captures, and here bishop captures, b captures, and rook captures was played. But now Arjun has a completely winning position in this, and If Arjun is able to find this, he is off to semifinals. So I'm gonna ask you to pause this video, try and find out this move which completely wins the game right on the spot. So have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this idea. The idea is bishop captures on d5. And yes, it's sacrificing an entire bishop, but the thing is that your rook is hanging. And if you go for this queen caps on d5, then just comes this rook caps on c3. And this is the best way to play this, because here after knight to g5, trying to go for some, checkmating ideas, now you have e4, and this is the idea, because here after rook caps on e4, you play rook to d1 in this position, hitting the queen and hitting the two knights along the way, and the king is a little bit weak as well. And if you try to go for knight to f3 in this position, you don't want to go here, obviously, because you will be getting under fire with the queen. So here just king to f1, and after rook caps on e2, you have to grab the other queen. So here rook caps on d5, and after rook caps on f2 with a check, king to e1, and you have to move the knight away. And most likely what's going to happen is you can go for rook to d2 in this position, and the game goes on. Arjun is very much better in this position, and most likely he is the one who's going to win this game. So Arjun, I was really hoping that Arjun would go for this, but Arjun does not. In this position, he goes for the second best move, which is queen to d2. But that just takes away all his advantage, and here he just finds the right idea. He goes for this rook caps on c1, rook captures, queen to a6 now, and now just comes this bishop caps on d5, finally grabbing the central pawn. But now just comes knight to f6, attacking that bishop. Bishop goes back, and here just rook to d8, attacking the queen. And the queen belongs on the b2 square, because it will hit the pawn, it will hit the knight. And Arjun goes for queen to b2, but now just comes this knight to e8. There wasn't any active square in this position for the knight, and you don't want to play something a bit too odd in this position, and knight to h4 would not do anything. So here just knight to e8 was played, which is the best move in this position. But now you could have started an attack. If Arjun really wanted to go all out with the white pieces, he could have gone for h4. And if b6, now just comes this knight to d4, knight captures, e captures, queen to d3 now. But here you have d5, just getting that pawn to the protection of the bishop. And after h5 in this position, not allowing white to go for h5, then you just go for queen to e5, and that queen on e5 is amazingly centralized. And if queen to f5 asking for a trade, you gladly trade. Queen captures, g captures, bishop to f3 in this position, targeting all these weak pawns. Knight to f6 defending, but now just comes rook to c7, and I'm really liking my chances with the white pieces in this endgame. But here after knight to e8, just knight to d2 was played, and Arjun really missed an idea in this position, which is this queen to e2 infiltrating with the queen. And now it's looking really bad, because now you have to go for rook to c2, and here queen to d1 check was played, knight to f1, and now just comes b6. Now that's going to be a permanent outpost for that knight, and you have to be really careful as to what to do about this. And in this position, Arjun just goes for a draw offer with a move like a rook to d2, and both players did agree to go for a draw. If you didn't want to go for a draw in this position, you could have tried to go for a4, and after h5 you just go for h4. Knight to c5 in this position, you have a5, rook to d6, then just comes a captures, and rook to c1 in this position, attacking the queen and asking the queen, where are you going? Queen goes to d3, you play queen to e5, and the game goes on with the rook going back. And you will have this game where you do have an extra pawn, but black also has an outside passer, so I don't think so. Hey, I mean, you should want to go for this. But after b6, just rook to d2 was played, and basically even if you go for this trade with rook captures, queen captures, and knight captures, you will have two knights against a knight and a bishop. Yes, there is some imbalance in the position, as you have 1:2 and here 4:3, then but still it's not going to be much, and most likely this game is going to end in a draw. So that's why here both players agreed to go for it on move 32. Missed chances, I would definitely say. I mean, Arjun had a chance to be able to just completely win and knock out Wei Yi with that bishop caps on d5, but he completely missed the idea. But I mean, it's better yet to pull the brakes now, because as you saw, his king was very weak, and in the end game, if you make just a slightest bit of error, this rook to d2 was basically a draw offer. If you tried to go for a4 and then you make some mistake in the end game and the queen is already on d3, your queen was on e5 and it was a little bit active, but your pieces were not coordinating that well. So it could have been a double-edged position where you think that you are better in the position, you did prepare, and once you get a bad position and you make a couple of bad decisions, then your position just starts to fall off. So it was better that just Arjun just called it off at the perfect moment, took the draw offer, and here he will have amazing chances in the tie breaks. So let's see what happens there. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.